Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Thank you for joining our call today. I'm excited for what we get to discover today. First of all, I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Today is Thanksgiving, and we've got several people, I don't know, probably about 3, 6, 7, 8 people that have decided to join us on this holiday live, and super excited for what we get to create together. And also those who are listening on the podcast, I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving, whatever day it is that you're listening to this podcast. Hope you have a wonderful day. I have got our timer set for 90 seconds, and we're going to be focusing on gratitude for earthly experiences. Several things actually were mentioned about Earth, living on Earth, life on Earth, and then also specific things that are relevant to the earth life that we have here, specifically Thanksgiving, holidays, aromas, like the smells of things cooking. Some of these things are just stuff that we get to experience here on earth. And I just think it's really, a lot of times we focus on the things that are above and beyond earth, and that's appropriate and very wonderful as well. But sometimes we kind of forget that there's a lot of really cool things that happen here on earth too. So that's what we're going to focus on today. 90-second private silent meditation on gratitude for earthly experiences, and just write down whatever comes to you. Begin. Okay. The first thought that came to me is that we have all of our different senses, our vision and our sense of smell and touch and everything. And I know that these senses are very helpful to us in our, navigating Earth life. And for some of them, some situations, it actually helps keep us safe. Like if we smell smoke, we know there's fire. And if it was in our house, we'd know that there'd be something that we need to take care of that, to keep us alive. But I also use my sense of smell when I'm cooking, particularly when I was in Arizona on a road trip to do a retreat down in Arizona recently. My Laura, who is not on our call today, who usually is in our live call, and I were in Arizona, and we stopped at a restaurant and we ordered a piece of pie. We ordered a piece of coconut pie, and I'm a pie maker, and I actually mentioned that yesterday too, I think. And coconut pie to me is coconut cream pie. And so I expected a coconut cream pie. And when it came, it was this dense pie. If you're from the South, you know about buttermilk pie. it was like a buttermilk pie packed with coconut. So it was like thick, you know, very dense. And I was like, oh, this is weird. This is interesting. And as I was eating the pie, that's all it was just a piece of pie. You know, there was nothing on it, nothing beside it, you know, no garnish, nothing. It was just a piece of pie. And to me, that was just like really weird. And so while we were eating it, I was kind of sensing what would make this pie better. And it was really good pie. Don't get me wrong. It was really good pie, but I just knew that there was an improvement. And it wasn't until I was in the car after we were finished eating and we were on our way again. And I was like, salted caramel. That's what that pie needed. And it was because I could taste the salted caramel with the pie when I was in the car, when there really was no pie in the moment. And I just, you know, to me, and I actually made it yesterday for a party. I made a buttermilk pie. I packed it with coconut, and I made a salted caramel drizzle to go over the top, and I put whipped cream on it. And it was better. It was an improvement. It was awesome. It was super good. And it was totally a hit. And I had no idea, you know, I wasn't even the first person to try it. The first person to try it was like, what is this? This is amazing. So I love the fact that we have our senses, our sense of smell, our sense of taste, and the experience that I have in making pies and cooking and knowing how different tastes go together and things like that. That experience is what gave me the confidence to try something new at a party, you know, where obviously at a party, you want everybody to enjoy the things that you present in front of them. And I made something completely new, hadn't tasted it before I served it. And because you can't like take a little sliver out of the pie or somebody will notice. But I just love how we can have these experiences, earthly experiences, that give us confidence to be able to step into the unknown and try something new, and have confidence also in ourselves that if it was a total flop, because I've had total flops, that it would not say anything about me other than that I'm willing to step into the unknown, and that I'm confident enough that it's a flop, then I'm still okay with that. And I'm still good enough. So that was what came to me, is just to really focus on beyond the obstacle, just allow yourself to just jump in, create, and using your senses and the experiences that we've had to create something new, and sometimes better, sometimes a flop, and either way, it's great. Robert.
Two things. One, if you can't enjoy this earthly life, why would you ever figure you would enjoy the after earth experience or life?
Yeah.
However that looks. Yeah. And so on your pie, you're right. If you take a slice of pie, it's pretty obvious. But as a child, you take a cake and you turn it upside down and you take a sliver from the inside of that cake.
Wow, never done that, Robert.
Well, I did. And I worked until you cut into that cake and you go, why is there a chunk missing from underneath it?
That's
like,
awesome.
Oh. Anyway, that's my earthly life experiences and so forth.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to remember that little trick. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I love what you said about enjoying earth life. If you don't enjoy earth life, why do you think you would enjoy the life beyond? Because God created this earth, right? And so we're going to be there where God is. So if he created this earth specifically for us, there must be something good here that we can enjoy.
And if we take what we have with us,
that's true.
It's disappointment, we're trailing disappointment with us.
That's exactly right. Thank you.
Fair enough. You're welcome.
Mary.
That's great. And that's exactly what I'd written down. What came to my mind was my dad. As soon as I thought of earthly experiences, I thought of his life, and his life is no longer here. And I remember feeling and kind of seeing him leave. And it was like, you know, this life experience continues on after this life. And like Robert just said, if you're happy here, you're happy there. If you're not happy here, you take that with you too. And the thing that came to mind that I wrote was that our experiences are all we take with us. Our joys, our connections, our our disposition, our memories, they're all that matter. So when we're in this life and we put someone off because we're busy, or we put someone off because, I got to watch the show, I don't have time for you, or you don't have time for people for whatever reason, you're missing out. So our earthly experiences are connections, and they're of course they're all kinds, but those are the things I thought of. And when we connect, that's what really matters, and those make the earthly experiences even better.
Wow, awesome. I think it's wonderful that I know you mentioned in our rounds of gratitude before we started the recording that you had just recently watched a show, Dare to Dream, The Secret Dare to Dream. And did you watch that by yourself? I'm just curious.
Yes.
Okay.
I was, yep.
Yeah. And so I think this is wonderful that you were the person that mentioned that. And then you're also talking about these connections that we create here, and watching that show by yourself. And you said that you had a notebook and you were jotting down some notes. This is like education. Our knowledge goes with us too, doesn't it? And so, sometimes it's not like, I don't have time for you or whatever. It's like, I am putting my time into this. And I know Deep Tea is a great example of someone who is just on a constant thirst for knowledge and understanding and the self-development. And it helps us to create better connections, doesn't it? And even coming on this call and being able to share some of the things that we've learned, we uplift each other that way. So that time that we give to those meaningful experiences, even if they're just by ourselves, is really powerful.
Yeah. And immediately after, because I was in the bath. So
awesome.
Like, well, okay, I'll just watch this movie. And I watched part of it, not all of it. And I immediately went and shared it with my boys who were in their rooms playing games.
Awesome. So that was just a really me time. And then you were able to take that me time and turn it into connection time. That's awesome. Awesome. Let's see, Betsy, and then I think Deep Tea unmuted also, and then Melinda.
Yeah. So when I first thought of the word earthly, I just, it's one of the things I say is, I just love my human self. And it's usually when I, say something wrong or fall down or do something quirky or something. And that it's just usually, it's kind of like an explanation for not being like super perfect or letting my spirit override my human self. And it just kind of made me laugh because I have really embraced all the good and the bad. And I realized that, even when we're young and you watch a little baby as he's learning to walk, as they walk across the floor, when they fall, they first look at their parents. Like, are their parents going to be, oh my gosh, you fell. Oh no. Or are they going to go, okay, get up, keep going. And I just wrote down falling to rise. And, every time we fall, we rise a little bit higher. We try not to trip over that same rock. And the learnings that we're so blessed to learn through these sensations. And you talked about the being able to remember how the salted caramel you could just imagine it. And so I also wrote that we drink in all of our memories and use them into our imagination, into creation. And so, I don't know, almost like a triad, like memories into imagination, into creation.
Beautiful.
What we can imagine, we can create. So yeah, it was just from lighthearted fun, picturing myself be an awesome, beautiful, goofy human. And there's so many beautiful things about that too, with all of our, like you said, experiences and sensations, but just also the awesome creation we can do too.
Wonderful. The word redemption came to me. And, we are taught in the scriptures that when we're resurrected, that the spirit and the body come together as one. And so when you're talking about humanness, it's like there must be something really, really awesome about our human self for us to be, for that to be an eternal part of our progression. And so when we think about human self now, maybe we can even level that up, and we're not meant to be perfect, for one thing, but then the other part of that is our human self is divine as well, just as divine as our spirit is.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so I don't know if I expressed that the right way, but yeah, I
just wanted to, that's what I
looked
got
at
from
it
what you
into
said.
like, yeah, to up like it, I upped it. And it truly is, being human is just an honor and a gift that we chose that way. And it is, I love my human self. It's awesome.
I love that. And there's such a higher vibration, like happy, smiley energy around when I hear that now. So thank you. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. Deepti, and then Melinda and Kathy.
So what came to me is, if I say I want this and I want that and I want this and I want that, and then there may be people who may think that, oh, I am greedy, or there may be people who will be like, oh, you already have these 4 dresses, why do you have? You don't need one. You don't need an extra dress. But that's the normal what people speak about. But I think we really get confused between our needs and wants, because the only thing you need is like food, water, and shelter. Those are your needs. Everything else other than that is a want or is a desire. And I don't think it is wrong to have these wants and desires in these material world. We are here actually for a beautiful material experiences, like experiences, the earthly experience. We are here for that beautiful material experience. But only thing you don't have to do is you don't have to be an asshole and like take advantage of people or exploit others to get what you want. So if you are able to do that, so you are not only living the good earthly human experience you are here for, but you are also leading a good life as a good human and the divine self that you are.
I love that. I'm going to add that as one of my new beliefs. I am living the good earthly experience. I love that. And you're absolutely right. And I want to add to that God provides all of our needs. Like we seriously could go live off the land, find, all the tools that we need, or all the, materials we need to create a shelter out in the wilderness. So God provides everything that we absolutely need. And so if we feel like we only have to live on what we need, basically we're saying, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to let God provide my stuff, and I'm going to, be like, just live that way. We are created to be able to be creative and to create from the resources that God gives us. So
we have come here for the co-creation.
Yes. Thank you. Melinda.
So in my studies, the first thing that came to my mind was a part of a book that I'm reading called Successful Marriages and Families, edited by Alan J. Hawkins and other researchers. It says, we must leave the ease of Eden to follow our Savior. And so that made that helped me think about that when, and it goes on to say, when Adam and Eve left the garden, they exchanged an existence sustained without effort for the life grounded in hard work. Some Old Testament readers may think labor as a curse, but a close reading reveals that God cursed the ground to bring forth thorns and thistles, which in turn forced Adam to labor for his sake. In other words, Adam's hard work for obtaining bread by the sweat of his face can be a blessing. And I wrote that I loved this gratitude, and that instantly my mind went to how these earthly experiences are not always fun or nice, but there's opposition in all things for our learning and growth, especially within our families. And I thought about, I was fine this morning, but just as we continued to talk, and as Mary mentioned her father and our experience that we have here and our connections, I realized that I'm actually quite emotional that this is the first Thanksgiving in 35 years that I'm not going to spend like today with my parents. But even Thanksgiving's kind of like a really fun one for me with my parents, because it's my birthday week and I just kind of celebrate with them the whole week and have fun out at the ranch with them. And really, it's because of the hard work that they've taught me and the service that they've taught me. And I'm just grateful that they taught me about hard work and service and the joys that we can find in hard work. And there's another part that talks about how the Savior, like Peter protested and objected Christ washing his feet because it was beneath Jesus's stature. And I'll just read one last quote that's in Jesus's response. It says, if I wash thee not, thou hast no part of me. Then he taught, if I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done. Thus Christ suggests that humble serving work is central truly for our sakes. And if we were always seeking to like not have these earthly experiences and not have these opposition, then we would miss out on all godlyhood experiences.
Beautiful.
And so I'm just so grateful for my parents today.
Awesome. Thank you. And, parents, you're making me emotional too, because parents are such a great example of what you just shared about, Jesus washing Peter's feet, and he was protesting and saying, no, I should be the one washing your feet. But I've never visualized this as I did today, as you were sharing that scripture that says, if you don't let me wash your feet, then you're not going to have any part of me. I can imagine that Peter carried that memory with him after Jesus died on the cross, that Peter actually was still like, he still felt that connection with Christ and that love and the charity, because that physical act of serving. And as parents, your parents serve you, and we as parents serve our children in that way. I mean, how many times have you washed your little child's feet, or dressed him or her, or given him a bath, or spoon-fed him, or gotten up at 4 a.m. to cook them breakfast before they go off to basketball practice? That's what my mom used to do for me. And it's this physical, earthly connection, anchoring experience that ties us to that person even long after they're gone. So beautiful. Thank you. Kathy.
On this day of Thanksgiving and gratitude, I'm so impressed with all of the shares and grateful for everyone here. But what was coming up about this gratitude for earthly experiences, I'm grateful that we all get to choose. I mean, so many choices. We choose our experiences. We choose how we feel about our experiences. Coming from a large family and sharing memories of the past, we all remember different things in different ways. And so I'm grateful that we can create beautiful experiences, create beautiful memories, and that we have those choices. And so going into this day, and yeah, this is going to be a different holiday. We're creating new memories of different ways. And so, and setting goals and intentions of how we want to spend this day, and how we want to show gratitude and love for one another, whether we get together or whether we do FaceTime or Zoom or so many. I'm grateful for the technology that we have to create new memories and new experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm doing the same. My family is pretty large. There's 7 kids in my family, and everybody has families, and most everybody lives within 1 hour. But most of us live within like 15 minutes. And so when we get together for Thanksgiving, there's like 50 people. And this year, everybody is separating and being in their own homes. And so this is the first year that I'm not going to, have that experience of a large family gathering as well. So I'm going to my daughter's house. It's her first time hosting Thanksgiving, which is really cool. I got to go over last night and help her prepare the turkey. And so that's a fun earthly experience as well, something new, which was brought about because of COVID-19. And it's just, we get to be grateful in whatever situation we're in. I also want to mention, go back to something that Deepti said about, needs versus wants, and what you're talking about, like getting to choose our experiences. If we went through life and the only life experience that we had was just, what am I going to eat? What am I going to wear? Where am I going to live today? Like every single day, having that survival instinct of what can I do to stay alive? If that were our full life experience, what a missed opportunities, to not have the resources to be able to choose some experiences to travel or, whatever. It really is valuable to level ourselves up financially, emotionally, mentally, to be able to change our mindset about things and to really draw experiences into our life that are beyond need. I'm just so grateful that we have those opportunities. We've got a couple things in chat, and then I'll read, and then we will move on to our permission process. Melinda says, yes, Kathy, thank you for helping me know I am with your mom tonight as we Zoom. And Deepti, thank you. My birthday is tomorrow, Friday. Happy birthday, Melinda, tomorrow. And I usually go home to oil paint with my mom and spend the week with her. So maybe I will find time to paint on my own for the first time tomorrow. Awesome. That is going to be a really beautiful experience. Super exciting. What a great tradition. Thanks, Melinda, for sharing that. Well, thanks everybody for what you've shared. Let's go ahead and shift into our permission process. Take a deep breath and just put a smile on your face and just feel the beauty. And Rachel, did you have something that you wanted to share?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I forgot to mute.
You're fine. Awesome. So let's go ahead and take one more deep breath and just feeling really at peace and joyful about your humanness, about your earthly experience and the divine qualities that we got to add to our spiritual body as we came here to earth. There are some things that just can't be done as a spirit, that it takes a physical body to be able to experience. And God created this wonderful physical earth for us to live on and have these physical experiences, physical and spiritual experiences here. And just go ahead and take another deep breath, just getting really clear and open with everything that you've experienced, and just watch for a particular experience that's maybe coming to the surface that possibly in the past you haven't looked at with gratitude, that maybe you have experienced this as a trial, or maybe it is an experience that you're finding gratitude in now. And you're wondering, is this all there is? Maybe there's something even beyond. Maybe this is one of those needs that there's actually something beyond that we can desire and move forward, continue on, and choose a new experience, a higher experience. Choose an experience that will give us even more clarity and confidence by applying the knowledge that we have. So just be open for God to show you what is the experience today that will be perfect for you to focus on as we go through our permission process. And the first question I have for you is, what is the limiting belief that's showing up for you about this experience? And if you hold on to that limiting belief, what would be the cost? How will this limiting belief play out into results? If the law of attraction brings us exactly what we focus on, what our beliefs are, what were our thoughts, the energy that we put into our thoughts and beliefs, then what will this produce for you within this experience particularly? And if you don't like the outcome that limiting belief is producing, then you can totally give yourself permission to choose a new belief, because that's all it is just a belief. It's not a truth. It's not something that is tangible, that is unchangeable. And so you can make the choice right now to create an energetic shift within your world by choosing a new belief. And if you're ready to give yourself permission to do that, say yes.
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 Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. So go ahead and choose 2 or 3 new beliefs that will create an energetic shift. You know, we've talked about physical experiences, but physical experiences, I think it was Betsy that was saying that, let's see, memories move to imagination, which moves to creation. So limiting beliefs are created by memories. And right now we're creating a new memory by making an energetic shift within your imagination. So it hasn't created a physical shift yet. You're just in your imagination. You're creating some new beliefs that will then in turn create a new outcome that will produce creation of something physical, tangible. So right now, go ahead and create that energetic shift within your world by choosing some new beliefs. And then take one more deep breath, bring those new beliefs into yourself and go back to that vision, that situation that you had experienced previously. And watch as these new beliefs actually create an energetic shift within your thinking, within your vision of what lies beyond of what you're creating. And then what is the one most important thing that you could do today to really create not just an energetic shift, but a physical shift, an actual change in your physical environment? And just listen for that inspired shortcut. Listen for inspiration to tell you what is the one most important thing you could do today to create a physical, tangible shift in your world in this particular area that you are focusing on today. And when you have that clarity, and you do not have to create the outcome in your mind, you don't have to go that far. Just know that if you take that one step today, it is going to create the change that is needed for that physical experience that you desire. So you don't even have to go any further than just knowing the one most important thing today, and just add that to your top of list of priorities today. And when we're done with this call, take action on that. And I'm going to be opening up for just maybe 1 or 2 quick shares today in just a moment. And I wanted to also invite anyone that is wanting to talk a little bit further about what you've discovered today to go to askwylene.com. And I would love to have a private conversation with you just for 15 minutes. And I promise that 15 minutes will be life-changing. So I encourage you to go try that out if that would serve you. askwylene.com. That will take you to my calendar. Tyree, you have something to share?
So my limiting belief was that anyone can create this and nobody would want to buy what I make. Mm-hmm. And obviously I'm letting that go. Mm-hmm. I was just thinking about how Laura, the other day, she was challenging me to think more like an entrepreneur, because I create things all the time, but I don't necessarily even consider putting it out there for other people. And so I've been trying to think more in that direction. And yesterday I was talking to my mom and she was saying how she wanted now through the end of the year for all of the grandchildren each day to go through this process of working on their dreams and what they want to create and seeing the greatness in themselves. And so I created these dream creation journals for them, and my action step is to just put on some finishing touches. And some of my new beliefs is that I make beautiful creations, and that I have beautiful creation within me. And so and also just going back to what you were talking about with intention, or no, maybe Kathy was talking about it, how this gives children such an opportunity to create with intention. And that's not necessarily something that we always teach. And also that going back to cooking, and I do the same thing when I taste things, and my sister said you could consider it a curse or a blessing. But every time I taste things, and I think, oh, you could do this and this and this to make this better. And she's like, can't you just enjoy it? And I'm like, yeah, when I cook it and I make it just how I want, then I enjoy it. Or my husband does. He's a really good cook too. So everything has its opposites, and it's good and it's bad.
Awesome. I love that. I want to, because I am an entrepreneurial spirit and a business coach. And so, my brain is always going in that direction. And as you're shifting into that direction, I just want to share with you what you're doing with, sharing that with like your nieces and nephews. That is considered market research. Okay. So any money that you spend on this, you keep track of that, and that is tax deductible. So you start thinking as an entrepreneur, and everything all the money that you spend, every dollar pretty much becomes tax deductible. So start thinking that way, because it will save you money, it will make you money, and it will save you money. And anyway, I'm going to text you with another thought that I had to this specifically to you. Deepti, you had something that you'd like to share, and then we'll end our call.
Yes, just because we were talking about our earth life, I just remember this quote I had read before. Obviously, since we are in the earth life, we are associated and attached with our connections and, people. So there's this quote which I just want to read right now, which says, if they died today, any XYZ person in your life, if they died today, would you be satisfied with the last conversation you had with them?
Wow.
So it just helps us to know that, we should really not keep grudges or anything, because life is short, and, you should just be compassionate and be good to everybody.
Beautiful. I love that. That's, it's a really good thing to have it to be in, is if you have a conversation that is not quite, doesn't go according to plan, to solve that, at least on your side, as quickly as possible. I have a habit of that.
Before it's too late. Yeah.
I love that. And it isn't even for that person, it's for you, right? Because if you don't have that opportunity, and it just
that's going to stay with you. Yeah.
It stays with you, and it can become like a cancer in your soul if you don't take care of that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mary put her new beliefs in the chat, so I'm going to just read those real quick. I enjoy each moment. I am making happy memories. And her next step is to continue to smile and be her kind of happy, be my kind of happy. I like that. I am letting things flow. Beautiful. And Betsy says, seek the fine cuisine of life, as inspired by Tyree. Sure, love you. And Mary, love your dream creation journals. Tyree, would love to see them. XOXO. Awesome. So Tyree, you definitely are going to have to share that with everyone. And I'm sure that everyone, if they want one, they will be willing to pay for it. And I'm excited to see your creations as well. Well, thank you all for joining us today. We went a little bit over time today, but it was perfect. And I want to just wish you all again a happy Thanksgiving. Love you all. Thank you so much for being here on our gratitude call. And we will look forward to being back together tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Happy
Love you.
Thanksgiving.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.